Hi, and welcome to my channel, Night Owl Collage. I'm Amber, and I've had a subscriber request that I do a tutorial on how to make a writing board. Now, if you don't know what a writing board is, it is a board that we use to put in our journals. Let me show you here. So if I had this journal, and say I was writing on, let's say I was writing on this page. So this would keep me from writing all over the bumpies and lumps and bumps that are on the other pages here. It gives me a nice smooth place to write in my journal. So we're gonna make a cute writing board for a journal that I'm making with my Flowers and Foxes kit. So all we need to do to start is to cut down some chipboard. If you don't have chipboard, you can use like cereal boxes or any kind of cardboard that's not corrugated cardboard, but just make sure you have enough to have a nice thick layer. So you don't want a flimsy writing board. So I've cut, and you want to cut them down to a little bit smaller than your journal size. My journal size is going to be about 6 by 9, so I made these 5.5 by 8.5. So these are exactly the same size, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue these two boards together with PVA glue so that I have a nice thick board. So I'm going to glue those together, and then we'll move on to the next step. I'm just using pH neutral PVA glue, but you can use whatever glue you would like. All right, so I've got my glue brush here, and I'm gonna start in the middle, and I'm gonna work outwards. That prevents having a lot of like oozing out of the sides. You start from the middle and work outwards. I'm just covering this completely. Okay, I'm just going to glue these together, make sure they are exactly lined up. Give it a good press. Okay, so after we have those boards glued together, we are going to cover them with whatever you would like to cover them with. You could use scrapbook paper, you can use digital papers, you can use book pages. I'm going to use some illustrations of a fox and a forest scene that I got from some children's books. So I've already kind of did a light folding where I want it on the board, so I know where to center it without having to cut, because I want to cut it down after I glue it on. So I'm going to start with the forest side. Okay, and then I want this forest about right here. Make sure I have that straight on the page. It's a little crooked. Okay. Let's use my bone folder to smooth it down. I want to get as few wrinkles as possible here. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut off the excess. Okay. Okay, so now we have this nice beautiful forest scene on one side of our board, and I'm going to cover the other side of the board with this fox. I want to keep the owls up here. I like the owls. Oh, that's an owl and like a, what is that, like a hawk? Yeah, like a hawk. So we're just going to cover that again. All right. I'm gonna keep my owl here. I'm gonna turn it over to make sure this is straight on the page. All right. So bone folder to remove any wrinkles here. Then we will cut the excess with the X-Acto knife. Okay, there we have our fox. Okay, so I'm thinking I might want to put like a book page border because I don't like this white here. So I'm going to find some book page to put over the top, like a border around this. And I think maybe on this side too, I'm not sure. But I will be back in just a moment. All right, so I've got The Wonders of Animal Life, which I think is appropriate here. And I'm going to draw a frame around this. Actually, I think I will just cut it with my X-Acto knife. Okay, so now I know that I need my frame to be inside this. So basically, I'm just going to kind of tear inside here to create a border. Okay, let me see what this looks like. Oh, I like that. That is very pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna ink the edges of this, and I want to do one. Let me see what this looks like on the back to see if I want to do it on the back. Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah, I really like that. So I think I'm gonna do one on the back as well. So I'm gonna find another page. Now I am adding another layer to this with this framing, so I wouldn't recommend to add more than 2 layers because you don't want to add any more lumps and bumps to a writing board. That's kind of defeats the purpose of it. So keep it to 2 or less layers. All right, perfect. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna ink this on the outside and the inside, and I'm gonna glue these on with my PVA glue again, and I will be right back. All right, I have inked the edges and glued on my frames, and now we are going to seal it with a collage medium. So you can either use something like Mod Podge. I'm going to use Collage Podge for mine. It's an instant decoupage. And then I'm going to let that completely dry before we move on to our next step. So I'm going to use a paintbrush for this one. I don't want any streaks. I think a paintbrush will do a better job of that. I'm just going to paint this on to seal in my images in my frame. And I'll probably do a couple coats of this. 2 to 3 coats of the collage medium. Because I want to get a nice good seal. So I'm going to dry this with my heat tool. And a tip I got from another video is if your paper is starting to bubble, if anything's starting to bubble while you're drying it, just use like a folder or spatula or palette knife to smooth it down as you dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the collage medium, dry it, and then we will be back. All right, before we do the last step, well, it's not the last step, it's almost the last step. I want to sand my edges. Now you can do this before you do your collage medium, whatever you prefer. I just like doing it after. Alright, I'm going to do one more thing before I move on to the last step. So instead of using the same ink to ink these thicker edges here, I'm going to use a gold ink. I've seen people use like a texture paste, like a gilded texture paste, but I'm just going to use gold ink on the sides here. So I've got Ali Edwards metallic gold ink. And I'm just going to rub the ink pad across here, and it gives a really nice antique gold kind of look to it. And I think it's really beautiful. I really love this ink pad. I need to get like several of them. And before we move on to the last step, just make sure that your collage medium is completely dry. Okay. For the last step, you're going to need like something to protect your desk. You're going to need some wax paper. You're going to need some cotton cloth, like a pillowcase or a tea towel or something like that, and an iron. You don't need water in the iron. We're not using steam. We're using on a very low setting. So I'm going to get my materials together, and then I will show you that last step to seal in all this beautiful work that you've done. Okay, I've got my mini ironing board here, and I just put down some parchment paper underneath, and I'm going to take a piece of my wax paper. I'm going to lay it over top here, and the idea is that we're going to transfer the wax to the board so that we have a nice seal, and so that it won't be sticky or stick to your pages from the collage medium. So I'm just going to cover this. I just always use this piece of cloth for a pressing cloth, so I'm just going to use this, and then I'm going to run my iron at low heat for about 8 to 10 seconds. I want this to be pretty warm, not like burning hot, like you can't put your hand on it, but pretty warm. Okay, so we're gonna see. Okay, so you can see how, I think you can see how it's kind of stuck to the board. Let's see if we, okay, good. It's leaving. Oops, I think I might have put it on too long, but that's okay. Let me get that paper off. Okay. And then I'm just going to, now you can tell that there's no more wax on this paper. You can see where it's left. It's taken the wax off. So I'm going to turn this over to the other waxy side, put it on, and we're going to do that again. Okay, that should be good. Right. So now we've got this nice wax seal, and it's nice and smooth. It feels so nice. I just love it. It protects your board, and it keeps it from being sticky as well. Okay, we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna use our second piece of wax paper and do the same thing. So there we have it. There is our beautiful new writing board. I've seen people add book corners to these. I don't currently have any book corners, but I might get some and add some to these. It might look really nice with this book page frame. So that's all there is to it. And then you have a beautiful handmade book board to put in your journal. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments below and I will try to answer them as best I can. And I will see you again soon for another video. Have a great day, guys.